Hey, Facebook. Good morning. I hope you're having the best day of your life. You know what? Just yesterday, somebody was telling me that somebody was at a grocery store, and these two ladies were fighting over this big toilet paper roll. I mean, you know what? The media so owns us, don't they? Go get water. Go get toilet paper. The end of the world's coming. The end of the world's been coming for a long time, hasn't it?
You're right.
Anyways, so thanks for joining us for part 2 of Toxic and Twisted. Now, that's just a name. This is a beautiful lady. She is not
I feel toxic and
twisted. No, you're not. No, you're not, sweetheart. So, anyways, before we start talking about her hands, but you might want to get a close-up here. Can you tell everybody the difference of, I only did one treatment, didn't I?
Yes.
On this knuckle.
Yeah.
And when I did this knuckle, you'll see in part 1, if you go back to watch part 1, which we're going to be, which you can look at, it's real. When I worked on the knuckle here, this whole part of her hand, right to the wrist, started to go gray-black. Now, I worked on a gentleman in Florida at a lecture that I actually put on Facebook, and it'll actually be up on YouTube, right? The Florida one, all my lectures are up on YouTube. You'll see a gentleman, I worked on his tumor, and when I worked on his tumor, the tumor's that big. When I worked on his tumor and loosened it up, guess what? He started to go black-gray in the neck here. We had somebody comment on my Facebook and go, oh my God, you're pushing the poison in. Understand something. Whether you're talking about a joint problem here, this knot, or a tumor on the face, okay, guess what these are? This is storage for toxic and twisted thoughts that you cannot process. I'm not good enough. I'm not a good mother. I'm not a good father. You know what? I can't live to my full potential. Who would love me, right? Because society systems, it could be the government, it could be religion, it could be so many, it could be groups and organizations. Everybody makes up rules, don't they? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we got 1,500 different religions, and we know we all came from the same God. But the reality is there's all these different rules. So whatever organization you're part of, you could do something there and nobody would say a word. You could do something here and you're being judged. How often do you judge yourself? We know you judge yourself a lot, or you wouldn't have toxic and twisted hands. How often does your husband judge you or your wife judge you? Okay, so that's the deal. You know, we got to let ourselves off the hook or we'll get crooked. Okay? All right? We get crooked and toxic and twisted. Look at this gentleman. He's got a big tumor on his face. And guess what? He had a big trauma moment, and it blew up. It was just a little thing right here. And then it blew up and it's this big. So do you react or do you take positive reaction? How do you work with your life? Do you understand? So the more that you react, oh my God, the end of the world's coming because the coronavirus is going to get us all. When actually that's just a distraction, because the real problem is the 5G. Because do you know about 5G? Mm-hmm. Do you know what it does? What happens is 5G is 60 gigahertz, right? So it's a lot higher than we've ever had before, all for just a faster download of your movie or your game. Go figure. Okay, so what happens is with 60 gigahertz, the electrons are shared by the 2 oxygen molecules, which is O2. Mm-hmm. Guess what happens? They spin at a rate that when you take in the oxygen, your hemoglobin can't pick up the oxygen. That's why people are falling dead. Boom. Wait till you find out. Everybody's going to find out that that's being shoved down our throat. Mm-hmm. So understand something. Why am I talking about this? And we're talking about our arthritis. Because arthritis is inflammation in the joint. Arthritis. Itis means inflammation. Arth means joint. Now, everything starts off first in the mind and then goes in the body. So wherever your weak link is, it's what's going to be attacked. So you take a look at whatever weak links you have, and you want to strengthen those weak links, or guess what? They're going to cripple you, aren't they? Was it starting to cripple you?
It was bothering me, that's for sure. It was more painful with this one, so.
Yeah. So anyways, we can restore. If you take a look at the last video, part 1, and take a look now. How much smaller is that?
Quite noticeable, because was
percentage-wise.
Oh, I would say it's about maybe just a quarter left.
Okay, well, look at, you see this one? Are you ready? That's the small one.
Yeah.
Okay, and look at this one. And I only did how long? 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
20 minutes work. So understand something. I don't care if you've got a hip problem or a knee problem, you got a spine problem, you got carpal tunnel syndrome, you got a shoulder problem. You don't have to go to surgery. It should be your last option. So you might have to go, depends how much damage you did, but shouldn't you make this your first option? Or
Absolutely.
do you think you should go under the knife should be your option, or taking all kinds of medication to dumb down the pain that dumbs down your brain? That's it. You dumb down the pain, you dumb down the brain. Then you ride the pain train for the rest of your life. Let me explain something before we get started here. Here's the deal. On a physical level, how could your blood ever become toxic unless you're absorbing your own waste? People don't understand this, but the large intestine is the holy grail, 85% of your immune system. There's 2.5 kilos of good bacteria in there. So the reality is that's a lot of good bacteria, but guess what? Take antibiotics and you destroy that bacteria. Antibiotics are like chemotherapy. Go ahead, take in dairy, which we know is a poison to all humans. Go ahead, take in sugar. Go ahead and take in gluten. Go ahead and eat processed foods that have tons of chemicals in them. Go ahead and eat your food and don't chew it. Go ahead and don't eat whole plant-based foods. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. This here, which is 85% of your immune system, the holy grail, you're reabsorbing waste. Did you know that you've got to first have a dysfunctional colon before you can have any illness in the body? Did you know that even when it comes to viruses and bacteria, that they cannot live in you unless you create an environment which is called a swamp? Because that's how the mosquito gets to stay there. You'll never see a mosquito on a fast-moving river. So is this nice, fast-moving flow, or are you getting all bunged up here? Because understand something. 80% of the population is overweight. What does that mean? They have fat cells. What does that mean? They have too many fat cells? Well, that means they have to store their inflammation from their toxic thoughts that become inflammation in the tissues. So issues in the tissues. So the body's got to make fat cells to store all your twisted and toxic emotions and your bad eating habits until you decide to respect, honor, and love your body. But then the problem is most people don't even know how to look after their body because you are taught not to look after your body. So now with absorbing the toxic waste from your large intestine, guess what? Gravity, it goes down, right? What do we call the pelvic area? We call that the soup bowl. So where do you think the toxins are going to go? Well, they're going to go down into the soup bowl. So don't ask yourself why you have ovarian problems, bladder problems, prostate problems, infertility problems, okay? Why you've got incontinence, okay? Why you've got pelvic pain. Don't ask yourself why, because that is the reason why. This here is the soup bowl. This is called the pelvic girdle. That's why a lot of women, 49% of all women leak urine, okay? Just go to Costco. They know a good thing when they see it. They've got a whole aisle of Depends, okay? All right? So what's happening is the pelvic floor in men and women is rotting out. I said rotten out because you're rotten, because you're reabsorbing the waste from your large intestine. Now, believe it or not, she had bowel problems. But with the hands, we know that there's something going on in the mind. Something going on with her relationship with herself, or the people that she loves around her, or the world itself. You don't get that way. I mean, you know, she said that I work in the garden, I work really hard, and that's probably why my hands are like this. So that means that every gardener should have toxic and twisted hands. What do you think, Janice?
Obviously, I was wrong. I didn't drink enough water, and that made sense because I didn't drink enough water when I was working.
Yeah, but I also can tell you something about Janice, and I've only met her a few times. Janice is still trying to prove to the world that she's a hard worker and that she deserves love and respect. But you got to give that to yourself because the world's not going to do that for you. Never does. That's why we have so many people walking around as victims, don't we? Because everybody thinks that health care is the white coat's job. Okay, everybody thinks that that love is you're going to get it from everyone else. Well, it's the only way you're going to get the love you truly need to be totally healthy, it's self-love, just like it's self-care. Okay, it's not health-care, it's self-care. It's not trying to get love from everyone else, it's loving yourself. Would you say that you're loving yourself a little bit more since you've been here, coming here? Thinking about it at least?
Oh, I've been totally reading your book and totally amazed and implementing the perfect day. And I'm enjoying it. I get up at 5 and or 5:30 and I go through a regular routine and it's feeling very good and relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to understand something. So when she went home, as you'll see with the part 1, when I worked on her hand, the swelling came all the way back to the elbow. Now, why did it? Well, because, are you ready for this? Every time that she looked down here and she was disgusted with herself, she could not process that emotion. It went into her hand.
Mm.
Every time that she would go and drink too much wine or eat chips or ice cream or go and eat too many animal products or have cheese or do too much gluten, everything flows through the body, right? Every 3 minutes your blood flows through your liver. So, but it flows through the whole body. So where would low vibrational chemicals and toxins, where would they end up? Can you tell me?
In my colon.
Well, they would, but they would also end up here because this is like a beaver dam. This is a block, right? Would you say this is a block?
Yes.
Of course. This finger was probably colder than all the rest of the fingers. And your hands are not as cold as they were, but they're still cold because we still have work to do. So we can actually take this hand and this hand here, this here, and totally make these beautiful, young-looking hands again.
That'd be awesome.
Well, we could. We can do that. Well, I already know we can do that. I've done it.
Oh, yeah, I can see you're doing it.
I've done it thousands of times.
Yeah.
And then you see these brown spots here?
Yeah.
She's got tons of them here, right? Well, these brown spots are because she's a moldy oldie. Okay, because guess what they are? They're fungus. And it's showing that her liver's so toxic. Okay, and they're not, we call them sunspots, we call them aging spots, we call them brown spots, but it's just basically that the process of her body deteriorating is picking up. Okay, so she's rotting from the inside out. And this is for you to look at and go, oh, I need to get my act together.
I used to have a lot more than I do now. They're getting better.
Well, why are they getting better, though, Janice? Can you tell me?
Because I'm implementing the perfect day.
And you're also starting to do the ultimate coffee enema, which you'll see in the perfect day. And when she starts cleaning out her liver, her eyesight's going to get better. Her mind is going to get better. These brown spots are going to fade away because guess what? Everything is body talk. Every symptom you have, everything that you see going on in your body is body talk. But what do? We tell it to shut up. So when you tell your body to shut up, you get a disease. When you tell your wife to shut up, you get a divorce. Okay? And if you tell your body to shut up enough, your spirit can no longer live in there because your body's rotting out and it's getting all these fungus and mold. Pretty soon, your spirit has to leave. So you want to hang around for a while?
Sure. I have a question.
What?
Is that the reason I have one green eye and one blue eye?
Oh, no.
From all the toxins?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not. No, but that's a great question.
Mm.
Okay. Do you see the beautiful spirit in this woman? I mean, like, she's amazing, right? And all we want to do, and all that I'm about, and all that the Doc of Detox about, or the International Training Institute of Health is about, is to give power back to the people. Take a look how we are not empowered. I mean, there's no toilet paper or water left in the stores because guess what? We just follow the herd and we're all headed to the butcher, all right? And understand something. Stop complaining, stop explaining, start getting selfish enough to know what you need to have a beautiful body, to have beautiful health, to have beautiful relationship with yourself. Because then and only then will you have a beautiful relationship with the world. Because the world is always going to be at war with itself. And the thing is that the higher you get up in the government and the higher you get up in the banking system, the more corrupt you are. Or else they wouldn't let you up there. So understand, I'm not trying to make this political. I'm trying to tell you to mind your own business and have the best life ever. And everything is a distraction out there. Do you notice? Look over here. Look over there. When we should be looking right in here. And we should be looking at our children. We should be looking at our spouses. And we should be listening and taking time to breathe and connect to ourselves and each other. So anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to do some work, right?
Yep.
So do you want to lay down? Do you guys? Okay, so if you want to lay down, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to actually, I'm going to start to show you. And then what we're going to do is for Facebook, we're going to stop and then we'll come back if you want to see the second part. Okay? All right? At the end, I'm going to show you where this knuckle is when I'm finished, okay? And we'll see if her hand goes black-gray again. So understand, what are the things that are black and gray? Well, when a person goes gray, that means they're dying. When they go black, that means they're dead. Are you with me?
Yes.
So that means that we've got the death vibe coming out of the joint, which means we bring what back to it?
Life.
Life. You're not going to have a life until you understand your body. You're not going to have a life until you understand life. You're not going to understand that to get well, you must look sick again. To get well, you've got to get rid of the sickness. So everybody out there, you're all taught that when you have a fever, kill it. When you've got pain, kill it. Well, guess what? You just killed the GPS of your body. Pain is the GPS telling you, hey, sweetheart, you're off track. Get back on track. No, shut up. Keep doing that. See how it works. You're going to have to take more stronger drugs until you're going to go to surgery. And guess what? Did you know that the average North American, by the time their life is over, has had 9.2 surgeries? Right. Did you know that the average person of 60 years old is on 5 to 6 different drugs? Okay, so what we are is we're druggies. Okay? We're toxic and twisted, and that's what this is called. First, your mind gets toxic and twisted. Thank you to everybody out there that thinks they know better for teaching us that. That's just amazing. But now that's the game, right? That's why this is called Planet Earth, a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure for the whole family if you know the rules. All right. Okay, so.
Wrong hand.
Oh, okay. All right. So what we'll do is I'm just going to show you what we're going to do to start. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go and I'm going to, these are called lymph channels, okay, between each joint. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to clean between all the lymph channels. I'm going to go in here and open up her wrist, okay? Now, feel your hand. How cold is it? Pretty
It's cold.
But it's not as cold as it was before. It was like a freezer. So now we've got more circulation here, but it's cool. It's like a fridge. Like, just when you go to a supermarket, it's like that kind of cool air right where the veggies are. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and understand something. Cold means what? Well, you're as stiff as a board because you're dead. So when you're cold, that means that there's enough blockages here. And understand something. A tumor is a blockage. An adhesion, scar tissue is a blockage. The worst blockages you'll ever have is after surgery. If you don't get Wolfe Non-Surgical after surgery done, good luck with that. You're going to have adhesions all throughout your intestines, your pelvis. Even if it was a shoulder surgery or a hip surgery or a hip replacement, you've got to have Wolfe Non-Surgical after, or you're going to be stiff. You'll be telling people, oh, well, it's not painful anymore, but it's stiff, right? When we think of stiff, we think of dead. When we think of stiff, we think of old people. Okay, when I'm in my 80s and 90s, I will be flexible because you didn't realize that you are being programmed to become a scar tissue issue. How many of your friends are stiff? All of them. Okay, they are losing their flexibility. They're losing their strength. They're losing their elasticity, and it can all come back. I don't care what condition you're in. We can reverse it. Can we reverse it totally? No, but we can reverse it to the point that you want to live, that you think life is beautiful. How many people, as they get older, they think life is beautiful? People are walking around so bloody miserable because their body is always aching, paining, and they can't even get the proper spinal fluid or lymph flow or blood flow into their brain. So let's get off the pain train, okay? All right, so Facebook, we're going to come back right after I finish, okay? Working on her hand, and you can check her hand out. Thank you.